Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Wish Infinite. In this video of Playwright with TypeScript series, I will talk about how to generate and use basic authentication token for API testing in Playwright. And previously, we have already talked about introduction of API, how to perform different API calls like get, post, put, patch and delete calls, how to perform different assertions onto the API response received, and what are all different ways to pass base URL, headers, and the request body with the API call. If you have not watched these videos, I will highly recommend you to watch these videos. I will provide link of these videos into the description, or you can click onto this I button at top right corner to access these videos. And one more thing, I have created YouTube Shorts playlist for Playwright. You can watch this playlist to refresh your Playwright concepts. I will provide link of this playlist into the description, or you can go to my channel Wish Infinite, and under this playlist tab you can access this Learn Playwright in 60 seconds playlist. And you can click onto this community tab where you would be able to see this Playwright quiz. You can answer these questions which will help you to prepare for your interview also. Now let's come back to our current topic, which is how to generate and use basic authentication token for API testing. So what is authorization? Authorization in APIs is a critical aspect of security, ensuring that only authorized users can access or manipulate the resources provided by API. There are several common methods for API authentication like API keys, basic authentication, OAuth, OAuth 2.0, JWT, bearer token, etc. Mainly, we would be talking about this API keys and basic authentication here. So for this video, I would be using API examples from this restful-booker.herokuapp.com. And here we would be taking example of this update booking, where we are going to perform this put call to update the booking information. And here, let's first take the example of this API key authentication. So here, if you will scroll down, you would be able to see we need to pass the header, which will include the content type, accept. And here, these two things are mentioned for the authorization. Either you can use this cookie or the authorization. And this authorization we have already used, and this is what we are calling API key. So with the header, we pass this authorization as the key, and its value would be this API key, which is same for all the calls. So let me copy this curl command where we are performing this put call. This is our endpoint, which includes the base URL with the resource and the resource ID. These are all headers which we need to pass. For now, we would be using this authorization on place of cookie, and this is the body which we want to update. So here I am copying this curl command, and into the Postman tool, you can click onto this import, and then you can paste that curl command, which will automatically fetch all the details. So see, it has already selected this put call, and here we have this complete endpoint, which includes the base URL with the resource as booking, and the resource ID is 1, which is booking ID. And if you click onto this headers, this content type, accept, and cookie got added here. For now, we would be using this authorization key here, which is our API key. So let me remove this cookie, or you can directly click onto this delete also. And here under this body tab, you would be able to see the body which we are going to pass with this put call. So here, if you want, you can change the information also which you want to update. Let me put Wish Infinite here as the first name. And here previously also I told you, with this cookie, if you will click onto the send, you will get this 403 forbidden, because this cookie value is not correct. So that's why it will not work. We will see that how to make it work in later part of this video. For now, we are going to use this authorization, which is our API key. So let me remove this cookie from here for now. And here from this document, we can copy this authorization, which is our key value. Here we need to pass this authorization as the header. So under the key, I have pasted this authorization, and here we are having this value, which is starting with this basic and then this key. So I'm copying it, and then you can paste it under this value column for the authorization. And this API key is common for the put, patch, and delete calls for this particular restful-booker.herokuapp.com. In your project, if you are using these API keys to perform authorization, so you can confirm it with your developer that what is the exact value and how you need to use it. So now, if I will perform this put call, we would be able to see the updated details into the response. So let me click onto the send, and this time we would be receiving this status code as 200 OK. And here we have this updated body, as the response. And this value should be correct. Let me change this value. Let's add some wrong value here. And if I click onto the send, I would not be able to perform this put call. See, we have got this 403 forbidden status. So that's why this value should be correct. And previously also, we have done this authorization using this API key with Postman tool and with the Playwright. And one more thing to add here into the Postman tool, we have performed authorization with this API key by adding it under the headers. But there is one more way where you can click onto this authorization. And here, once you click onto this auth type, you would be able to see different authentication types. You can click onto this API key. And here you need to pass the key and value pair. So our key would be this authorization, right? Which we have passed with the header also under this key column. So here you can put the key as authorization and then its value would be this one. And under this value, you can pass the same value. And here we have option to select either header or query params. And this information you would be able to get from your developers that how you need to pass the API key to perform authorization. For now, here we need to select it as the header. And from this header section, we can remove it. And once you click onto the send, again, you would be able to see this status code as 200 OK. So it is just the another way to pass the API key within this Postman tool. If you don't want to pass it with the header, here also you are just passing it from this authorization tab where you are selecting the auth type as the API key. And then you are passing the same key and value pair and you are adding it to the header. So the same thing is happening, but with the different ways, right? I'm just showing it to you so that you have this knowledge and there is no confusion, right? Now let's perform the same thing with our Playwright test script. Here into the project folder, I have created one test script file, which is API testing authorization.spec.ts under this tests folder, where I have imported the expect and the test from the Playwright test module. Here I can create one test block where I'm giving the title as authorization with API key. And then second parameter would be the anonymous function. So async. And under this anonymous function, we need to pass this request fixture. By using it, we are going to perform different API calls. So request here, and then the arrow symbol, and then curly braces. So previously also, we have passed this API key with our put, patch, and delete calls. I'm just quickly showing it to you just to refresh your concept. So into this playwright.config.ts file, if you remember, under this define config, we have this use key and its value is the object where we passed this extra HTTP headers, and its value is again object where we passed this API key where the authorization was the key and its value was this key which we have taken from this site. So here you can pass it directly into this playwright.config.ts file with this extra HTTP headers, or you can pass it with your API call also. So it depends. So this value was common for all the post, put, and delete calls. So that's why we have directly used it here. You can also use it directly with the API calls. Let me quickly show that to you again. So request dot, and here we are going to perform the put call. And inside the put call, I need to pass the complete endpoint. So I can copy it from here. And here the second argument would be the object, where first we need to pass the header to pass that API key. So headers would be the key colon. So for this API key, the key value is the authorization and its value would be this string. So for now, I'm not passing it with this playwright.config.ts file. I'm directly passing it here with the API calls. So it's totally up to you and about your requirement that how you want to pass this API key. So previously we have already looked at the different ways to pass the headers, and the same thing you can apply here to pass this API key with your header. So this is our first key and value pair where the key is the headers and value is again an object with the API key information. Other two headers I've already added into this playwright.config.ts file. So that's why I will not pass it again here. And after putting comma for this headers key and value pair, I can pass the request body. So to pass the request body, as we have already seen, we need to use this data as the key, and its value would be the complete JSON object with all the information which we want to update with this put call. So let me copy those details also from the Postman tool or from the document, you can copy it. So here we have passed this body. So let me copy it. And here you can paste it after the colon. So colon and then the complete JSON object with all the details. And now let's quickly save the response into one variable. So const resp, any name you can give, equals to, and then this API call. Don't forget to put this await, as this put method is going to return a promise. And by using this resp variable, we can perform one assertion also. So here we can use this expect, which we have already imported here from the Playwright test module. And onto this response, let's validate the status code for now. We have already looked about the different assertions which we can perform with the different API calls. For now, we are just going to quickly see that we are going to receive 200 as the status code or not. So resp dot status method we are going to call, and after the expect we need to put this 2b, and the status code should be 200. So here we are putting this 200. Now let me execute the script so that we should be able to see the passed result, as we are going to receive this 200 as the status code. So let's quickly execute the script. So see, the execution got passed and we are able to see this one passed here. And here it is not necessary that for this API key, this key name should be authorization only, or this value should be in this format only. Let me give you one more example so that you do not have this confusion. So here we have one more practice site, which is this, the cat API. And here, if you will come to any of the API call which are using this authorization. So see, here we need to pass the headers, and here to pass the API key, the key would be x-API-key. Previously, we have passed this key as authorization for this RESTful-booker site. But in this case, we have the key name as x-API-key. And here we need to pass the value. So this value you would be getting onto the mail once you provide your email ID onto this particular site. So it would be different key, right? So that's what I wanted to show you, that it is not necessary your key name and its value would be in same format, right? It can be anything which developers has provided. Now let's talk about this basic authentication. So again, we will take the same example of this put call first. So it is not necessary that with the put call only you need to perform this authentication. It depends onto your project. So there may be the case that with each call like get, post, put, patch, delete, you need to perform this authentication. So in that case, as per your project, you will have to perform the authentication. You will have to get all these details, that how you need to authorize your APIs from your developers. They will provide you all the details. Now, to perform this basic authentication, we are going to use this cookie thing. To perform this basic authentication, we would be passing this cookie, and here we will have to pass its value, which will require a token value. So first question is that how we will get this token value. So for that, you can click onto this create token. And here, if you will read, they have written that it creates a new auth token to use for access to the put and delete booking. So here, to generate this token, we need to perform a post call, which will take this complete endpoint with the base URL and the resource as auth. And then we need to pass this header, and we need to pass a body with this post call, which would be taking this username and the password. And once we perform this post call, we would be receiving 200 as the status code, and within the body we are going to receive this token as the key name, and its value would be the token which we would be able to use for our future request. So here we are going to generate a fresh token from our post call, and then we are going to use it for our next API calls which require authentication. So about your project, if the same authentication is applicable, so here you will have to get all these details from your developers, that what are all the different details which you will have to pass to get the token. So in your project, there would be different base URL, the resource, right? Different username and password which you would be getting. So all those things you can use. Now let's perform this post call directly into the Postman tool. So for that, I am just copying this curl command, and here into the Postman tool, again I am clicking onto this import, and then you can paste this curl command which will fetch all the details. So see, here the post got selected. This is the base URL with the resource as auth, and here we are passing this header where the key name is content-type and its value is application JSON. And within the body, we are passing this username and password. And once I click onto the send, I should be able to see 200 OK as the status. And I would also be receiving one token, which we would be using with our future API calls to perform authorization. So let me click onto the send. And here, see, we have got this response body where we have received one object where the key is token and its value is this token value which we are going to use. So for the put call, previously we have used this API key to perform authorization, right? This time I am going to use this token which just got generated, which we need to pass here with the cookie value. So it is not necessary that you will have to pass it like this with the cookie as the key name and then the token value. In your case, this key name may be different, this value format may be different. That information you can get from your development team. For this particular site, for now it is cookie as the key name and its value would be token equals to, and then we need to pass that token value. So let me remove this API key details. You can directly select no auth here for now, or you can remove these values from here also. Let me select this no auth. So for now we are not passing any API key, and here under this headers we need to pass the key name as cookie. So here you can paste this cookie as the key name, and its value would be token equals to, and then token value which just got generated from this post call. So here let's put this token equals to, and then you can paste this token which got generated here. Let me again click onto the send, because this token will get expire after some time. So it may be 5 minutes or 15 minutes, half an hour. So it depends that how developer has configured this token, that after how much time it will get expired. Let me click onto the send again. So see, again this new token got generated. You can copy it, and here after this equals to, I am pasting that token value. And now if I click onto this send, I should be able to see this 200 as the status code, and I've also received this response body. So here if you will put the wrong token value, so in that case you would be able to see the status as forbidden. So I'm putting this wrong value, and let me click onto the send and see we have got this forbidden. So into my previous put and delete videos, I told you, right, this cookie is not working. Why it was not working? We were not generating those values, right? We were just pasting that information from here. So that's why it was not working. But this time we have generated the latest token by performing this post call onto this endpoint with this username and password, which gave us this token value. And then we are using that token value here to perform the put call. So let me click onto the send, and this time we have got the status as 200. And the same thing we would be doing into our Playwright test script. But before that, let me show you one more way to do this basic authentication into the Postman tool only. Let me again copy this curl command so that we would be able to see the difference. Okay, again let me click onto this import, paste it. So all those information got copied here. For now, for this new way, I would not be passing this cookie as the header name and its value as this token value. So let me delete it. And here you can click onto this authorization, and from this auth type, you can select this basic auth. And here you can directly pass this username and password, which we have passed with this post call body. So our user was admin. So here I am passing this admin as the username, and our password was this password 123. So I am passing it here with this password. So here we have selected this basic auth with this username and password, and I have removed that cookie details, right? So now if I click onto this send, I should be able to see this 200 as the status code with this response body. So let me click onto the send and see we have got this status as 200 with this response body. I just wanted to show this way to you that by clicking onto this authorization, you can select this basic auth and pass the username and password to do this authentication. So into the first way, what we were doing, we were performing this post call with this username and password, and through that we were getting the token, and then we were passing that token with this cookie as the header name and its value with this token equals to whatever the token which got generated. But here into the second way, we are not performing any post call to generate the token, but we have selected this basic auth from here, and then we just directly passed our username and password directly to our put call, or the patch or delete call also you can do the same, and it has performed the authentication. But we will stick to the first way, because into the Playwright also we would be first performing this post call to generate this token, and then we would be using this token to pass it here with the cookie to perform this authorization to our next API call. So here we are just taking the example of put for now. I would also be showing it to you with the delete call, but with all the call you need to perform the same thing. So here into our test script file, for now let me comment out this first test where we have used this API key to perform the authentication. I'm commenting it out so that you can take it for your future reference. Now let me create one more test block, and here for now I'm just going to perform the post call to generate the token, right? So here I'm giving the title as basic auth, and title name you can give. So for now we are just generating the token by performing that post call, and here we need to pass the second argument as the anonymous function. So here async, and then within the parenthesis you need to pass that request fixture, and then equals to greater than and the curly braces. And here by using this request fixture we need to perform the post call. So request dot post, and within this post we need to pass the complete endpoint which is containing this base URL with the resource as auth. And to pass the second argument we need to put this comma, and then the second argument would be the object where we need to pass this body. Okay, so for that we need to put this data as the key colon, and then the complete body which we want to pass with this post call. So in this case it would be this body which is containing the username and the password. And let's save the response into one variable. So const, and then any variable name you can give. I am giving it as RESP token equals to, and here we need to put this await, pressing this Alt Shift F to format the code. And for now just let's print the response. So console.log, and here we need to print this response token into the JSON format. So response token dot JSON method we need to use, and we need to put the await also because this JSON returns us the promise. Let's execute this test so that we would be able to see the token which should get generated. See here the execution got completed, and here into the console log we are able to see this response into the JSON format where the key name is the token and its value is this token value. And this token value we are going to use for our next API calls. In this RESTful-worker site you can see that our put call and the patch call and also the delete call require this authentication. So with these calls we would be using this token. For now we are going to use it with our put call. So here just to show you I have created this test block where we are generating this token. But into our project it's better to use such type of calls which are giving us the token with the before hooks, so that you would be able to perform such calls before your test, and then you would be able to use that token into your test. So for now I'm going to use this before all hook. So about the hooks we have already seen into one of my previous video. If you have not watched that video, you can go to this Playwright tutorial playlist and watch that video. So after this test we need to put dot, and then before all is the hook name which we would be using. So before all the test this particular code will get executed, right, where we are performing this post call and then we are getting the response. Okay, and through that we are going to get this token details. So first let's save this token detail into one variable. So here let me create one variable. So let, and then the variable name. So here the token value, any variable name you can give, right? It should be meaningful. So here we are going to save the value of the token inside this variable, which is token value. So token value, after this we need to put equals to, and then from this response we need to get this token value. So this variable name response token where we are going to receive the response of this post call. After this we need to put dot, and here we need to convert this response into the JSON format. So here we would be using this JSON method. Don't forget to use this await, as this JSON is going to return us the promise. Let's put it inside the parenthesis. You can also save this JSON response into one variable and then can use that variable name here. Simple JavaScript concept. And onto this JSON response you can put dot, and then after this dot the key name for which you want to get the value. So for us the key name is token, for which we want to receive the value. So token here. So by this you would be able to save this token value into this variable which we have created here, and here we have provided the value. Let me remove this console log for now. Now let's perform this put call, but this time rather than using this API key which we have used here, we would be using this token to perform the authentication. So let me create one more test block. Here I can give the title as authentication of put call using basic auth. Any title name you can give, right? And the second argument would be the anonymous function. So async parenthesis, inside it we need to pass the request fixture again. Using this request fixture we would be calling this put method, and then we need to put this arrow symbol and then the curly braces where we would be putting our code. And here let's again use this request fixture dot put, and inside this put we need to pass this Same endpoint, let's copy it from the document so that it would be easy for you to understand. So this is our complete endpoint, which is containing the base URL with the resource and the resource ID. So within the quote, I've passed this complete endpoint. And then we need to pass these three headers. So these two headers, which is content type and the accept, we have already passed with this playwright.config.ts file. So no need to pass them again. So here with this extra HTTP headers, we have passed these headers here. Now we just need to pass this third header where we need to give this cookie as the key name, and its value would be the token equals to and the new token which just got generated with this post call, which is there inside this before all hook. So let's put comma, and here we need to pass one object, and inside this object we would be passing one header, right? So headers colon, and again its value would be the object, and inside this object we need to pass the key name as cookie. So let me copy it from here. So cookie is the key name colon, and its value would be token equals to the new token. So within the quotes, I'm passing this token equals to, and then we need to concatenate this token value which we are generating here after this equals to. So within the double quotes, I have passed this token equals to as the string, and then I'm concatenating this value with this token value. So after the plus, put it here. So by this, we would be able to authenticate our put call where we are generating this token with this post call. And now we need to pass the body. So again, we need to put this comma after this headers key value pair. And then to pass this body, again, we need to use this data colon. So after the colon, we need to pass the complete body. So let me copy it from this Postman tool. So with this put call, we have passed this body, right? So let's copy it again and paste it here. So the complete body as the value of this data key. So now our put call is ready. Let's save the response of this put call into one variable so that we can perform a simple assertion for now. Let's put this await with this put call as it is going to return as the promise. And then const, then the variable name resp put I am putting here equals to any variable name you can give. And now let's perform one assertion. So for that, we need to give this expect, which we have already imported here. And then resp put. For now, we are just going to validate the status code. So status method we are going to call here. And after the expect, just put this 2b and the status should be 200. So now once I start the execution, so first what will happen? It will execute this before all hook where we are performing this post call, which will give us the token. And then we are using this token value for our future calls, where in this put call case, we need to pass one header where the key name would be the cookie and its value is going to be token equals to the new token which just got generated, and everything would be the same. Previously we were using this authorization and this fixed API key to perform the authorization, but now we are doing it like this. So it depends what kind of authentication you are having into your project. Those details you will have to collect from your development team, and on basis of that you will have to perform such type of authentication. Now let's execute the script so that we should be able to see the passed result. See, one passed we have got. And now just let me cover the same example with the delete call also. So here we have already performed this delete call using this authorization into my delete call video. Let me copy this curl command just to quickly perform it into the Postman tool first. So into the Postman tool, click onto the import, paste that curl command. It has fetched all the details related to this delete call where this delete got selected, and this is the complete endpoint which is containing the base URL with the resource and the booking ID as 1. Let's delete the third record. So here I'm giving 3, and here inside this headers, this content type and the cookie got added. For now, we need to pass the correct token here. If you will use this default token which they have provided with this curl command, we would be able to see this response as forbidden. So now let's put the latest token. So for that, let me generate this token again by using this authentication post call. Let me click onto the sand to generate the latest token, and here we have this token value, and let's put this token value after this token equals to and then this token which got generated, and click onto this sand. So this time our third record got deleted and we have got the status code as 201. Now let's do the same thing into our Playwright test script. So here let's create one more test block. So test, and let's provide this title as authorization of delete call using this basic auth. So I'm just copying this previous title, and here we need to change it to delete. So authentication of delete call using the basic auth, comma, and then we need to provide this anonymous function as second argument. So async, and here we need to again pass this request fixture inside this anonymous function. So request here, and then arrow symbol equals to greater than, and then the curly braces to put the code here. Here let's perform the delete call. So await request dot delete call we need to use, and inside this delete call method we need to pass this first argument, which would be the complete endpoint with this base URL, resource, and the booking ID. So for now we would be deleting this first record from here, and for this delete call we need not to pass any body, as you can see into the document also here, but we need to pass this token details, right? So same thing you need to do, we need to pass the second argument, right, with this delete call. So after the comma, put these curly braces, and inside these curly braces headers would be the key, as we need to pass the header colon, and then again we need to pass one object where the key would be this cookie colon, and then we need to pass this token value with this token equals to. So I'm copying the same line, cookie colon, and then this is the prefix which we need to provide, and then we need to provide this token value. And let's save this response into one variable. So const resp delete equals to, and here let's again provide the assertion for the status code. So I'm copying the same assertion from this previous test block, and here we need to provide this resp delete, right, which is the response of this delete call. And this time we are going to receive this 201 as the status code. So let's provide this 201 here. So this is our delete call where we are performing this authentication using the token which got generated with this before on, and then we are using that particular token here inside this headers where we are passing the cookie as the key and its value as this token equals to the latest token. And in your case, let's say there are so many tests, right, and this token value is frequently changing, like within 30 seconds or 40 seconds it is changing. So in that case you can perform this post call with the before each hook. So with each test you would be able to generate this new token, right? But usually your token will not get expired so soon. There should be some time difference of 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or half an hour. So it depends project to project that how much time this token is valid for, so that you can confirm it with your development team, and then accordingly you can configure it here. Your development team can also change this duration, so you can consult it with them. Now let's perform this delete call quickly so that it should be able to see the passed result. See, one passed, and here if any wrong value we would put with our token, let's put this 1 2 3 with the prefix, so that we should be able to see the failed test. See, we have got one failure where we are receiving this 403 status code, which is for the forbidden, but we were expecting it to be 201, but purposefully we have failed it by putting this wrong token value. Let me change it to the correct value for your future reference. And that's it for this particular video. Let me give you the quick recap. So here we saw that authentication in API is a critical aspect of security, and there are several common methods to perform this API authentication, like API keys, basic authentication, Auth, OAuth 2.0, JWT, bearer token. So it depends on to project that what kind of authentication we need to provide. So you can consult the same with your development team. For now, we have covered this API keys and the basic authentication part. So here, to perform any API call in your project, you may require this authentication. First, we saw that we can pass this API key to perform the authentication. And for that, you will have to pass this authorization as the key name and its value, which is given here onto the site with your header. So into this Playwright script, we have performed this put call where we have passed one header where the key name is the authorization and its value is this value which we have got from the document. And for this RESTful worker site, we were having this authorization key common for all the calls. So in my previous videos also, we have directly provided this authorization key and value into this playwright.config.ts file at the global level, but it depends on to the requirement. So accordingly, you can pass it with your headers. We have also seen the different ways to pass the headers with your API call into my previous video. So with any way, you can pass the header, and within the header, you can pass this API key. And then we have saw the second way to perform this authentication, which was the basic authentication, where we have first generated the token value by performing this post call where we have provided the username and password. It gave us this token, And then with our put and delete call, we saw that we can pass this token value. Right here, we are passing it as the header, where we need to provide the key name as cookie, and its value would be this token equals to, and then the latest token which got generated. Here first we saw that within the Postman tool, we can pass this cookie as the key name, and its value would be token equals to, and the token which was getting generated from this post call. And the same thing we saw into our Playwright test script, where we need to perform this API call. So here we need to use this request fixture dot any API call, and then the complete endpoint. And after this, we need to pass the second argument to pass the header, where the key would be the headers and its value would be different headers key value pair. So for now, here we have just passed the cookie token equals to and this token value. And this token value is coming from this post call which we are performing with this before all hook. It depends on to the requirement. You can also put it inside this before each hook if this token is getting expired frequently. So from this post call, we have got this token which we have converted into the JSON format, and from there we are fetching this token keys value which we are passing here. And after the comma, we are passing the data which is required for this put call. And into the delete call, we have done the same thing. We are just passing the header. Here no body was required, so we have just passed the headers with the cookie colon and this prefix token equals to, and whatever the token value we need to pass. So it depends, right? In your project, there may be the case that you need not to pass this prefix. The key name may be different, right? So as per your requirement, you can change it. And after performing this API call, we can perform different assertions. For now, we have just validated the status code here. And that's it from my end. You can click onto this first card to go to the next video. You can click onto the second card to access the whole Playwright tutorial playlist. And stay tuned for my upcoming videos. If you have any comments, questions, or doubts, you can let me know into the comment section below. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much. Have a great day.